What is up, design family, and welcome back to another episode of Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you back on the channel. On today's episode, we'll be looking at the top 5 myths surrounding seamless sportswear. So you're a startup brand or a young brand looking to create your first collection, and you're thinking seamless might be a great option. I've seen my favorite brands do it, and I definitely want to create something similar myself. Well, wait a second before you go ahead and do that. On today's episode, we'll be looking at the top 5 myths surrounding seamless sportswear and why you may actually want to reconsider going to seamless for an initial push. Hey guys, and welcome to Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you here. On this channel, we discuss all things sports fashion, graphic design, manufacturing, and technology. We'll discuss key topics, answer pressing questions, and provide actionable steps on starting your own product line. If you're interested in any of the above topics, stick around. You're in for a good one. Getting right into it, I want to preface this episode by saying seamless is not all bad. Yes, this episode may make it seem like it's not a good option, but this is simply untrue. I'm just going through the misconceptions that a lot of startup brands may have towards seamless. And number one is going to be, hey, a lot of my favorite brands create seamless apparel and they seem to sell very well. And yes, although seamless is an extremely appealing type of knit and construction, it's not necessarily the best option starting off. Because of the specialized machinery, the technical training that people that are needed to operate these machines need, the minimum order quantities for seamless construction are usually much higher than traditional cut and sew garments, because there is that initial cost that needs to be offset between buying the machinery, training the staff, so on and so forth. That's why you actually will be risking much more going into seamless production, as you do need to purchase a lot more quantities up front. So do bear that in mind. Also, there are lower MOQ options by factories that offer ODM or white labeled styles where you can just put your logo on it. And I definitely don't recommend that, because if you want people to take your brand seriously, rehashing existing products is not the way to go. Number 2, seamless construction means no seams at all. Well, this is actually wrong. Yes, it's all in the name, but seamless tubular construction will still create the need for seams. Just look at a pair of socks. They're created using the same construction, but you actually still need the seams at the end of the toe box to seal the pattern in. The same is true with your favorite pair of seamless leggings. If you look, you do need seams at strategic positions like the inseam, the gusset, and even the waistband, depending on how much compression and taper you need. So yes, although seamless minimizes seams, it doesn't mean no seams at all. Number 3, seamless knit construction is virtually limitless. I can do anything I want. And yes, although it's true that creating seamless garments open up a world of opportunities for you when it comes to the types of designs, patterns, and knits you can create, there are certain key limitations that you're going to have to consider. Number 1 is going to be the number of colors that you can have in a singular tubular knit construction. Usually most machines will limit you to between 2 to 3 yarn colors. So creating these seamless knit constructions with a variety of colors, like the entire rainbow, is extremely difficult. If you look at a pair of ombre leggings, that is usually 2 different colors joined together using a dip dye technique as opposed to a traditional knitting technique. The garment is first knitted and then it's dip dyed. But with traditional seamless knit, you're usually recommended to keep between 2 to 3 yarn colors per knit construction. Also, some other types of limitations arise in the types of knits that you can do and how you layer those knits over each other. A great example is, let's just say you want to create a seamless knit camo legging and you want to have a high compression waistband. Chances are on the waistband, you're going to use a fine 1x1 or 2x2 rib knit construction to have that elasticity and that compression. But you won't be able to layer that waistband in with a camo arrangement of that rib knit. You have a limitation of how many different types of knits you can do in one part. So that is something to bear in mind. That's why some of your favorite camo seamless leggings will feature a rib knit waistband with the main body being the full camo knit. And then lastly is, because your tubular seamless knit construction goes in a longitudinal direction. So when we're knitting the garment, you have the tube and it goes down to up or up to down. This creates what is known as a staggered effect. If you have angled lines, the lack of density or the lack of resolution in your seamless knit will create this staggered effect where your lines almost look pixelized. If you've ever taken a angled line as a JPEG and zoomed into it and you've seen the pixels, how they stagger between line to line, this is the same effect. So it can be a more or less of a concern depending on the quality of the knit and the density of the fibers used. So do bear that in mind. Number 4, all of my favorite brands feature seamless garments with high compression. Therefore, my garment is going to be high compression as well. Yes, it's true, but bear in mind that not all seamless construction is created equal. Also, not all seamless yarns are created equal. Just because brand X has a pair of leggings with high compression doesn't mean that your seamless leggings will also feature the same level of compression. There are a variety of factors that you have to bear in mind. Number 1 is going to be, what are the yarns that you're using? Like, what's the composition that you're using? 2 is going to be, what is the density of your knit? 3, what are the actual knit patterns that you're using? Are you using high compression knits? Also, what is the thickness of your fabric? Thicker fabrics will traditionally feature more compression because of their lower elasticity, and they'll be able to shear less. So all of these factors are going to play into the level of compression of your garment and should be specified in a tech pack or a technical documentation sheet beforehand. Number 5, I can use the same exact material composition as my favorite Lululemon leggings in my seamless legging. I want to achieve the best of both worlds, so I'm going to specify the blend that I've seen from my favorite leggings in this seamless knit construction. This is actually wrong and simply untrue. Because of its specialized construction techniques, there are very specific types of yarns and yarn types that can be used in seamless construction. So you can't necessarily just grab a material composition from your favorite cut and sew leggings and expect that to be used on seamless constructions. Our recommendation for the types or the blend of yarns that you should be using for seamless knit garments is going to be a blend of nylon, polyester, and spandex or elastane blends. This is going to give you the perfect blend of comfort, softness, and actual compression on the garment. Well, that is a wrap, guys. Hopefully you have a better idea of the limitations of seamless knit garments, and going into it, you'll know much better what you may be getting yourself into. This isn't to say that seamless garments are bad or not a viable option for startup brands, but I wanted to give you guys the information that I wish I would have known when I first got started in the industry. And we will be doing a separate video in the future, not to confuse you, but to let you know what the actual advantages of seamless garments are, because there are a ton, as I'm sure you found out. And if you guys want to see that episode, please consider subscribing if you have not done so already. It really does help us out. Consider smashing a thumbs up so YouTube can push this video out to more and more people. We'd love for them to see it. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Fittdesign TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.